Good morning. Today is February 17th and I got home from my yoga teacher training a little while ago and it was absolutely beautiful. But since then, the first day I got home, I printed my 10-year collection of poetry, and this is one of the first times I've ever held my work in my hands. And this is the final round of editing that needs to happen before the book is actually ready. Once this is done, I can go back in, I can add these edits, I can give it a once-over, and then I can do whatever I want with it, whether that looks like continuing to submit my poetry book to traditional publishers or just going forward and having it published by myself, because I'd really like to do that by the end of 2024. But in the process of doing these edits, I'm going to be walking you through the structure, revisions, really getting into reading like I'm looking at this document for the first time, and what would I want to be different about it. That's going to be really fun. I already have my cup of coffee. It is 8:02. I've been up for half an hour. Yeah, we're pretty much just going to get right into it. I'm going to take the morning to journal, and then after that we're getting into a creative day. The really cool thing about where I'm at with this is it was my goal by the spring to have done this much, and it is February 18th, so it was my goal by March 21st to have done this, and I have actually done this. The editing process is going a lot faster and a lot more smooth than I expected, which is really nice because that means that I am currently 2 months ahead of my self-projected goal when it comes to getting this thing done, which is really, really fun. The first piece, the very last thing in this manuscript, December 19th, I finished on December 19th of 2014. So there it is, December 19th. I finished that so long ago. So being able to hold this in my hand, even though it is very much an unfinished piece of work, it's very cool because this is the final stage of the drafting process. I have edited this probably 4 times before actually getting it to the point where it's ready to print. Once I add these final edits in, the book is done. So editing this project temporarily fell to the wayside because I just released my first ever spoken word album, Darkness to Light, yesterday. So today is the 25th of February and I have this much left to do. This entire portion, this big thick chunk, took me probably about a week. So the only reason that this isn't already done is because I did, like I said, temporarily set this aside to work on Darkness to Light. I actually anticipate this to be done before March, and I can be a published author hopefully by the end of summer. But yeah, I am excited to get back into this, especially because once this book is done, I can go back to my other one, which has very much been on pause since before I left for my yoga teacher training, so it has been over a month and a half since I have worked on my novel. That part that I'm at in my novel is at a spot where it's really easy to keep avoiding it because it's literally right before the climactic moment of the entire book. And that is a challenging part for me to write. I've never made it this far into a novel before because I've never made it more than about 40,000 words into a novel. And I'm currently at 120,000. So I'm very excited to get back because I haven't spent very much time with Hazel in a while, and I really love her book. I love her story. I love the characters in that one. I'm also recognizing that it's important to just finish one thing at a time. I can work on 3 different books, and I am right now. I have my fantasy novel, I have this poetry book, and then I have a blue book of essays. And it's very cool to have all of these different things. At the same time, if I can just direct my focus towards one of them, then I can keep completing projects. That's just gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome to be done this year. This is literally 10 years of work where things have been added, deleted, changed, rearranged, and redone so many times, and I'm just gonna be so proud to have this book in my hands, to be able to share it with the world, to be able to put it out there and have it be part of this bigger story that I'm trying to tell of wonder and magic and rising from darkness to light. I'm just stoked. I'm just very stoked for this project. People ask me all the time how I get so many creative things done. And the first thing that I really want to show you before I get any tips and tricks out there is the system that I use, because having a good system to organize whatever it is that you're doing is literally half the battle. So this is the system that works really well for me. So I have this beautiful site called Notion, and this isn't sponsored, I just really like them. And one of my boards that I have is my creative clubhouse. This is my personal playground for mapping out timelines and task lists for creative projects. So all of the projects I've got in motion are things that I am currently working on. So everything that I have here is based on the fact that I want to be publishing by the end of July. And you can see that the last goal I have is to have a publishing avenue decided and started on by June 15th. But the thing that I really want to point out is because I drafted every single one of my goals here with a date, I understand where I need to be in order to get these things done. So I'm actually almost 3 months ahead of my schedule because I'm just about to finish editing fall, and that's really exciting. I think the main thing for me, especially as someone who likes to have a lot of different creative things going on at once, is being able to make slow progress. That's what works for me. I don't try to push myself to do a lot, and that's why I do a lot, because I don't really try. I just work very consistently at the things that it is that I want, and I'm really effective with my time. I could be doing a lot of stuff with my time other than creating, but every single time that I have spare time, I try to pull myself away from distractions. But another big thing for myself as well is I like to have the creative diversity. I like to have different projects that I can work on at different times, but understanding my own balance of when it's time to just focus on one thing at a time is really important. Like I said, I'm just working on Seasons of Life right now. I'm not working on my novel. I'm not working on my spirituality book. I'm just working on this one until I can get it to a spot where it's done, or I feel really, really good about where it's at. Because I don't right now. There's no reason that I'm not published. I wanted to be done editing the spring section of this book last March, and it's been almost a year since then. So that actually brings me to my next thing. My next thing is if you've been trying something for a while and it's just not working, that means there's likely a barrier that has nothing to do with the project itself. For me, it was the format. It was the format of trying to do edits online, and that just didn't work for me. So what I had to do was print it out and then start taking the manuscript with me when I went places. It turns out that it wasn't that I wasn't motivated to do the editing, it was that I wasn't setting my environment up for success so that editing could be easy. When I actually printed the manuscript, like I've been showing you, the editing has been flying by. And that actually brings me to my next thing. Don't rely on inspiration and motivation to do any of your creative work. Inspiration is so fleeting, and inspiration is fueled by this fiery passion. It's you being aroused by the idea that you could create something, and that feels very good to do, but once you do it, the urge is gone and there's nothing to stand on at all. So you're going to have a lot more creative success if you use that fiery passion to make a plan and then execute the plan later on, because then you don't have to rely on inspiration and motivation. You've literally got the plan. There's no brain work involved. You get to be super creative because you have that structure. The flow becomes easy. Those are just some of the things that I find really helpful for me, but overall, I'm relying on consistent, stable systems that allow my creativity a clear channel to flow through. Creativity is like an ocean. It's very unrefined. It's this giant, deep, but also very broad thing. And once you actually have a structure for it, it can flow into a river. And it's actually gone through this structure to make its way somewhere. And so creativity needs a riverbed. Anyways, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be sharing more about my writing process. I'm going to be sharing more about where I am with these creative things. If you want to download Darkness to Light, which is my spoken word album I just released yesterday, you are more than welcome to. The link for that is down below. And other than that, I will see you in my next video. Bye.